And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday. That can only mean one thing. It means that the head ball coach of the Valley Christian Screaming Eagles is with us once again. Andy Hake joins us in the studio on Toyota of Warren Ysn Power Hour. So, Coach, the week that was, my goodness, and this was all across the Valley, but in the EOAC, there's a lot of people wondering what this season's going to look like based on Week 6 and the shakeups. You guys standing tall as the only undefeated team in the EOAC to this point. What does that say about your team, and how did you feel coming away from that Wellsville game?
We're just really excited to be relevant. It's just we have a lot of young kids on our team, and we knew that we were going to have to play, like I said last week, harder and harder and harder as the season went on. And our kids are buying into what we're asking them to do. And I'm just really proud of the way they're playing hard. We went under center and had 8 fumbles in the first half, just exchanges. But we're getting better, and the kids are very fast. They're playing fast. They're playing tenacious. And I'm just proud of our kids. You know what? I know there was a big upset with Lisbon and United, and we were just talking about that. But that's the great thing about high school football. People, when people decide they're going to not back down and they're going to challenge somebody, because they play that game 100 times, United might win at 95. Yeah. But Lisbon, the night when it counts, Lisbon came out on top, and hats off to Matt Altimore. And I know that's I know how this feels. It's very upsetting when this happens, but United will be tougher for it. They're going to come out and be more focused for it, and they'll be a tougher team for it. But it's like eating craw for a while.
Yeah, you've been on both sides of that. I mean, what is it on both sides? What does it feel like?
Well, it's exalting when you upset somebody, especially somebody so relevant like United is right now. Yeah. United's having a heck of a season. I watched the film; they got monsters up front. They are big. Yeah. And Courtney is a tremendous player. They move him around, and I think their coaching staff, Ogilvie, does a great job with what they have. It was one of those nights. I've had those nights. I've had those nights I felt even this year where, hey, I feel we're the better team, but you can't keep shooting yourself in the foot and turning the ball over and having penalties and having touchdowns called back. And you lose momentum. It's not a video game. It's real human beings, and the human condition and the psyche starts kicking in. And, Lisbon hung around long enough to where, hey, we didn't put these guys away.
You start feeling it.
You feel it, and then it's like quicksand. The more you move, the more quicker you go down. And it's a tough thing. I watched the film plenty of times, and it was a great game. And United had opportunities to win, even though they didn't play, I'm sure, as good as they thought they could have played. But hey, that happens at every level, from high school, pee-wee, to college, to pros, every week. So I just give credit to Lisbon, and I know they're partying in Lisbon all week. So hopefully we're going to catch them on Friday, and the party, they're still a little, hungover from the party.
So I guess that's my next question. As you look at this Lisbon team, is it a situation where you're telling your guys today at practice, hey, these guys are believing in themselves a whole heck of a lot? What do you instruct your guys? I mean, how do you tell them to kind of prepare for the week against a team that just had probably one of the biggest wins in their program's history in the last 10 years?
I try to focus on us. I try to focus on our kids and how we're playing, and what can we control? I can't control. Lisbon has some great players, like I said, 12, 24. The quarterback's a good player.
Sifke,
say, oh man, he's an athletic. He'll sprint one way, turn and throw back the other. Yeah, you have to be an athletic guy to do that. And he does those things, and we're going to have to play our spots and play fast and rally to the football, and know that when they do get some plays, first guy there, wrap them up, and then let the other guys go there and ding them. And we're gonna rely on our quickness and our tenacity, and our guys wanting to play real hard. But it's a great matchup, and you can't look at them and say, well, they lost to this team and this team, and don't do that. That's how you set yourself up for defeat. Yep. You got to approach every game like it's Normandy, and then when the game's over, then we'll talk about whether the team was good or bad. You know what I mean? But don't make comments about people, because all it does is fuel fires. And the worst thing you could do is get a good player all ticked off, and then give him a reason to play great. Yeah. So I think the best way to approach games in general is be humble. Work on you. Don't talk about other people that much. Yeah. Hey, they're good. Hey guys, they beat United.
Yeah.
They're good. Don't tell me about. And we know it was an upset,
Yep.
but at the same time, upsets happen, and when they happen, hey, ask Clemson if they think Duke's good right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can
Yep.
say whatever they want. Guess what? You got your tail kicked in when it counted.
Yep.
So you have to focus on yourself and getting better, and we've done that the last month. And I think we got our feet under us, and we're gonna throw our best punch at them Friday. And I know it's going to be a good game. That game's not going to be a blowout one way or the other. No. It's going to be a good football game. We're going to have to play 4 quarters.
And, I mean, you look at that, and, I mean, does it get you excited? I mean, it has to, because I know how competitive you are. That's got to get you excited, knowing that you've got a team that's got a live arm at quarterback, that's got playmakers, and that's got a win under their a signature win, I guess, is the best way to put it, that they're coming for you, right? And that's got to get you excited because you've got a young group of guys, and you want them to be built on iron sharpening iron, so to speak. So, I mean, for you, I mean, you've had your fair share of domination over your career. I mean, you've never, correct me if I'm wrong, you've never had a losing season.
You know what? I've been blessed to be in places where the parents and the administration have allowed me to coach the kids. Not in the parlance of our time, unhinged. They've allowed me to coach the kids the way that you need to coach kids and talk to young people, which is demanding them, being good to them, first of all. You have to be good to kids because nobody cares what you know until they know that you care, right? And so if they know you care and they know that, hey, this guy really genuinely cares about me and his staff cares about me, and they're going to go out of the way to pick the kids up, make sure the kids are clothed right, look a certain way, make the weight room nice, go out of the way to show, hey, we do care. No, then people will let you coach them, and they will look the other way when they think, hey, it's not personal. They're trying to make the team better, the kids better, and they're going to coach them hard, and there's a high demand, high expectations, and I've been lucky enough to be at places that have allowed me to do that, and then it's a funny thing coaching young people, especially today, where winning solves a lot of problems, but it doesn't solve all of them.
Right.
But when you're winning, a lot of people say, the kids are responding.
They look the other way.
They're responding, and you know what? You have to check yourself as a coach. Am I doing the right things? Am I talking to these kids right? Yeah. Am I being over the top by demanding too much? And you have to be able to self-evaluate. And I've had good coaches through the years, and we've talked about it, and making sure that we're all on the same page of treating the kids right. And I've been lucky. I've been fortunate. Yeah. But I'm excited as all get up this week. This is a big game. This is a big game for the league, big game for us, big game for Lisbon. Yeah. I mean, my gosh. I mean, they're and it's. We look at ourselves a certain way too. We're the defending league champs. Yep. We look at things a certain way. Yep. We've earned that. I tell our kids, you haven't lost a league game this year. You didn't lose one last year.
Champion's advantage, man.
So, you know what? Everybody's going to throw their best punch at you, like you said. And we have been getting people's best punches. Yeah. And they're not worried. Hey, they see a little, being young, a little inexperienced, with only having a few seniors. They see, hey, he's wounded. They're wounded. So go after him. So we know that. So we're going to go into these games the rest of the season, the back half, with more experience, because I have been playing young kids. I got some buddies in the coaching world saying, hey, we're banged up. I got to play young kids. Well, I've had an advantage. I've been playing young kids the whole season.
Since week 1.
So now my kids are a little bit more veteran, and they're not going to be so green behind the ears. And I like how we're growing as a team. It's a tough team right now. We're flying to the ball in defense. Offensively, you make mistakes, you make big plays, you got good players, they make big runs sometimes, make big catches, but defensively is hard.
Everybody loves playing defense, though.
The good teams, you really see it. When you see a good team play defense, oh, wow, they're running the ball. That's what it comes down to, because you don't have the ball. So you really see someone's passion when they're on defense. Yep. And the best teams in any sport play defense. Yeah. Very rarely do you see a great championship team not play great defense.
That's very true.
In any sport. Yep. You could talk from Little League all the way to
defense wins championships. That's what they say.
I know it's like a cliche, and it's a T-shirt of the week, and it's fact. Offense can put points on the board, but if you're not going to play defense, when you do play a team that's going to take you to the mats, then they have an advantage of you when they play D.
Do you see the game slowing down for your guys right now? I mean, we talked about being, going from being rookies to veterans, kind of that situation. But, in practice, do you see them starting to understand when you're talking about a play call? You're talking about kind of the dynamics of how the game is played and what you guys are trying to accomplish and get out of them. At what point did you start seeing that and you go, okay, this could be a dangerous
team? You know what? We coach our team like the Miami Hurricanes of the 80s. Keep the plans. We got good athletes, right? We got good athletes. Line them up properly.
Yeah.
And have them feeling confident that they're lining up properly. Then take your first read and your first steps. And then get your apple to the ball.
Yeah.
Play fast. Don't put too much in their heads where they're having to think too much and not, make it a reactionary thing. And I think that which is a good point. I mean, hey, you have a young team, a lot less thinking. Just because, hey, react. Be an athlete.
Yep.
So I think we put ourselves defensively in positions now where guys are playing fast and when they're rallying to the ball. There's times we had 11 hats to the ball against Wellsville, and
that's scary.
It looked really fast.
Scary.
And you show them clips and you say, why can't we do this all the time? And that's the human condition. The human psyche. Why can't we do this all the time? If we all know that that's what championship teams do, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to be doing the right thing all the time. I mean, it's easy to say, just do the right thing. Well, okay. Well, it's hard sometimes. You know what I mean? Because temptation and I can take an easy way out or I can take
there's
a shortcut.
10 other guys that can do this.
Right.
I'll take a play.
Look, coach, there's somebody else at the ball. Well, that's not the game. The game is everybody get to the ball. And teams that have special seasons do that.
Yep.
South Range last year.
Yep.
Hell, South Range right now. That was a great game, that polling game the other day.
Yep.
And again, say what you want about South Range. I've played them for years in the old ICL. I played them for years when I was at reserve playing them on non-league. You're not going to challenge yourself to a better team, small school than them, because they play with a certain sense of heroic belonging that you don't see at a lot of places where it means more to them. I always say Mogador's a place like that too.
Yep.
This Kirtland must be a place like that.
I'd imagine.
You know what I mean? Where it means more to them and to their families. And, hey, in Mogador, your brother did it. Your uncle did it. Your cousins did it. Now you better do it. And it's, hey, man, I'm just not playing football. I'm doing
your blanket.
I'm doing some family pastime. So you know what? Those places in South Range has now become one of those places. I'm sure these schools that are in their league at one time were like, bring that small school up here.
Well, and
we'll yoke them up and teach them a lesson.
They're the smallest school in the NEA.
Sure,
and I think that's why they kind of got the invite.
They're one of the toughest teams in the area, which makes them one of the toughest teams in the state.
Yeah.
All divisions. Don't tell me that they couldn't line up against anybody in this area and play them hard. Now, I don't know what the score is. I don't know what the score looks like if they played Fitch or Ursuline or Warren Harding. But if I was coaching their teams, I would be nervous because I would tell my guys, hey, this is for real. And if you don't play them with a chip on your shoulder and with anger and with looking at them for who they really are, it means more to them. So, it is what it is.
So let me ask the question. When you are on top of the world, right? You are winning games. You are at the top of your conference, the top, whatever it is. Do you have to find a chip on the shoulder for your guys? Find that motivation to get them going? Or are you guys kind of self-propelled?
You know what? You got to talk about it with kids.
Yeah.
You can't assume anything. There's two types of motivation. There's extrinsic motivation where you're motivated by other things on the outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What is it? Like, is paper clips, I mean, getting the paper, getting shine like that, doing individuals. Whereas intrinsic motivation where I want to be great. I want to do this because I want to be.
You're lighting your fire.
You know what I mean? And most people are extrinsically motivated. Yeah. Most people, you have to demand a lot from them. There's very few people that are intrinsically motivated, and usually they're the best guys. They're the best guys because they don't need somebody lighting a fire under them all the time. They want to go to practice. They want to do well. They want to be a good teammate. They want to be coachable. And those are the best guys.
But in a locker room, there's a mix of those guys.
You have more extrinsically motivated guys.
Yeah. So how do you shuffle them? How do you kind of stack them up to where everybody's stepping in the same direction?
Well, I think you got to talk to guys individually. That's been the thing that I don't know what works for everybody.
Yeah.
I can only say what works for me, and then a lot of the coaches I've talked to through the years and gotten to know, like what works for them, and everybody works differently.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit more up at practice than maybe some guys. I don't think I need a whole lot of. If I'm not up at practice, what's wrong with Hake?
Yeah.
But there's some guys that operate really good, and they're just mellow, you know what I mean? And kids know, hey, that's dude. Dude expects us to play hard, and he talks. I think you got to talk to kids. You can't just assume people know anything. I mean, look at pros, look at college guys. If they're not talking, if you're not communicating properly to people, and what's the difference between these pros winning and losing games? I know, well, this team has talent. They all have talent. What's the difference? What's the silver lining? I watched the Chicago Bears yesterday play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oof.
They got roughed up.
Sorry, buddy.
They just got roughed up. Now that Fields was a great quarterback at Ohio State. And he runs around for the Bears. Something's not clicking. And it's like, well, it's this, it's that. Well, what about Watson at the Browns right now? There's moments where it's like, oh, there he is. And then there's moments like, we gave this guy $240 million. Hey, we gave this guy $240 million. And it's just, it's that fine line of communicating properly and being what motivates people to keep going and to do their best. And when things aren't going well, they're still fighting like hell and doing their best.
I know you and I talk about it all the time, and I know you love being in the EOAC. Do you guys still feel like you're the left shoe in a world full of rights?
Well, I'm just very fortunate that we're allowed to be. I walked into a situation where the school wasn't in a conference for a long time, and they were in the conference with Crestwood and Garrettsville and Mogador. Before that, they were in some North Catholic League. I know in Cleveland. And now they're in a league where there's only 79 boys at Valley Christian. And we do not go after kids. We don't go after kids. As a matter of fact, if someone wants to go to the school, they have to go down to the admissions office.
Yeah, they're not going to Coach Hake.
I'm not talking to any. I ain't getting because I ain't dealing with it. But and there's not enough time in the day to chase 16-year-olds around from other schools. I just don't. You know what I mean? But make your place attractive by doing the right thing and winning, and then people want to come.
How do you get people because listen, and we keep going over this, but it is a following. Like everybody on YSN would play for if they had 1 year of eligibility, and you said, "Hey, who do you want to go play for?" Across the board, it's Andy Hake.
I appreciate that. It's flattering, but I think more of that has to do with.
Is it your personality?
I don't know, man. I'll get on a kid, and I tell the referees at the beginning of every game, "Hey guys, don't take this personal. It's not personal."
Yeah.
I'm not taking it personal when you throw a flag and I think it's mystic. I'll be the first one to buy you a beer at the Ice House when the game's over. But hey, when this game's going on, I'm coaching to win.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna defend my kids and I'm gonna try to get the edge because the other guy's gonna do it. So I think people want to be led by people that are all in.
Yeah.
I think that when people see people that are eccentric maybe a little bit and charismatic and joking, but at the same time, hey, with holy seriousness, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of guys in the area that I would love to play for.
Yeah.
I love to play for Bob Spate.
Yeah.
I think Spate's great. I do. I watched him as a kid and playing at Middle Ridge, and he was a head coach then, or Yeagley at South Range. I love to play for those guys.
Yeah.
Phil Anarello was a guy I always liked. You know what I mean? But there's so many coaches in the area that I think, hey, he's a cool dude, man, and I like to play for him. So, I mean, it's not... I'm flattered by it, and you know what? I just guess I've always prided myself on trying to be like my dad when it comes to...
Who's a GOAT?
He's a G, man. But it's like, hey, my dad was really good to kids. He just went out of his way to be a special ed teacher for a long time, and my mother. And they were 35, 40 years. And they're really good to kids. And they went out of their way to be good to kids. So it's like, hey, be good to kids, and then expect the world from them. And then, a lot of times people will do what you expect them to do. They'll do what you expect them to do. If you don't expect nothing from them, they ain't going to do it. But if you expect them to, hey, set the bar here, and if they fall short, it's here.
Yep.
But if you set the bar down here, and they fall short, now you suck. You know what I mean? Or and I don't mean like you know what I mean? Like, hey, guys, we stink. And we chose to stink because we had low standards of ourselves when we should have had high standards. We went into the season with a couple seniors and we said, hey, we're going to recapture this. But you guys got to work harder.
You're bought in.
You guys got to go all in. Yeah. And they're city guys. I'm not going to act like coaching at Western Reserve is the same way as coaching at Valley Christian. It's not.
No.
People are people, though. And if you treat them right and you have high expectations and you go out of your way to help them out and you show them you care, people are people, and they'll appreciate it, and they'll play the same way, both sets of kids.
Yeah.
But coaching, they're two different places. One is the suburbs and a lot of two-parent homes. A lot of. I'm not saying they have their own problems.
Sure.
I was there.
Yeah.
But the other is Gotham, and when you're in Gotham, expect things to be tougher. Expect them to be tougher.
Are you the Batman?
I always joke with guys, officials in the city, and say, you don't need more cops, man. You guys need to hire Batman, a couple Super Marvel heroes. You know what I mean? But no, you know what? I'm just really fortunate to be in a position where I'm around kids, and I like the game. I love the game. And,
you too. I think that's one of the coolest things about you is you actually like, and you make no qualms about it. You root for other teams.
Oh yeah,
like playoffs.
Yeah,
My favorite time of year is talking to you about the playoffs because you'll tell me straight up where you think these teams are, and usually, and I say usually with 90% gusto, you're right.
I was wrong last week. One game,
and you were close on it.
Yeah, I think Springfield's the real deal.
Yeah,
I think that's the real deal for a small school in this area. They played South Range, they played Geneva. So they're 4-2 right now, but their 4-2 is different than perhaps my 4-2 or Lisbon's 4-2. Yeah. It's just a different animal. I'm not ripping on us. I'm not ripping on myself. It's just, hey, when you do this for a long time, you see people for what they are, And I think South Range wanted to prove last week to Poland, hey,
to be the man, woo! You got to beat the man.
The dog ain't dead. So, and Poland's good. I scrimmage Poland. Poland's tough.
They're
a lot of seniors.
Big.
They had 21 linemen come out. I had 8 when the scrimmage started. We were warming up in the end zone. I was like, what's wrong with me? Because I was like, we thought just hitting, trying to see where your kids are at. But they came out with the Roman Auxiliary Army, and I thought, oh my God, what did we do? But no, we played them really hard in that scrimmage. As a matter of fact, that was one of when my guys are scared, they play tougher.
Really?
Well, when they have...
Are they tighter?
We got this, coach. That's when you're setting yourself up for upsets.
Yep.
But when you're a little scared or a little bit I don't want to say scared, but on edge of we can lose if we don't play well.
Yep.
Everybody usually plays a little bit
You try
better.
to be perfect. And that's it. Some teams can do that and they fail. Like some teams play better lose. Your team just happens to be better when they play tight.
And it's a funny thing, so I don't mess with them some games. And then other games, all right, I got to talk today. I mean, I talk to them all individually. But before we come out, sometimes, all right, boys, we're ready. Let's just play really hard, give a little that a boys. And then other games, it's you got to force your hand on them.
What one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about, 2 more quick questions before we call it a wrap today. The big thing in the world right now in football is artificial turf versus real grass. And for years, people are pushing turf because it's easier, it's better, it's there's less injuries, there's less maintenance. Now all of a sudden in the NFL, people are getting injured and concussed and things of that nature, and they're starting to flip-flop.
Isn't it crazy?
What's your thoughts on that? Do you have a preference? You play in a parking lot.
There's nothing like a wonderfully cut and manicured grass field.
Okay.
There's nothing like it. There really isn't. I had this guy, Jeff Martig, was my AD.
Oh, wow.
At Western Reserve for years. And he took like heroic pride in making this field a certain way. It was in magazines. It was in calendars, our field, because it was so nice.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like, it's just very hard to do and maintain. And, from the selfish point of view, there's nothing like my guys being on turf because they're fast.
Didn't you show me a picture one time that they landed like a helicopter on the field?
Oh, yeah, Nike did.
Wow.
In 2011, 12, 13, something like that. They landed a helicopter. Gave us in Maslin gear. I'd never seen nothing like it. Yeah. And, no, it was just a really nice thing that they just landed in this chopper. I mean, this big chopper came on the 50-yard line. It was really cool. Being a part of some real cool things, just being around football, you know?
Yeah.
Just being around, lucky to meet people. And then, you know, when you meet people and they see you're genuine and hey, man, this guy really likes kids, or this guy's all in. You know, people are attracted to eccentric people, I guess, to some degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I
hey,
do.
this guy's eccentric, or there's something about this guy, or this guy's, you know, I don't know what it is about the human condition that you say, hey, I like him or her, and you know what I mean? And they're I think most of it's being genuine. Just be genuine. And then, but no, this has been a great, a fun football season. A lot of twists and turns. Not a lot of undefeated teams.
No. A
lot of teams getting knocked off.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's been fun. I mean, there's a few. I think Ursuline and geez, are they Garfield?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Garfield's good.
Yep.
That Keegan Sell.
Is
that the back?
Yep. And he's a wrestler.
The wrestler.
He's a stud.
Oh man. That guy's great.
I feel like he's been around for like 30 years.
Yeah, there's some guys when they play young, it's like, dude, is he back? Is he back? People always ask me about my back, too. Like, dude, that guy ran for 1,000 yards like 2 years ago.
Jay Sean.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he's only a junior. And they're like, no, he's not. I'm like, oh, he's a junior.
He'll be back next year.
Don't worry, folks.
Punch your ticket.
He's fun to watch. He's fun to coach.
Yeah,
he's a real serious guy.
Yeah.
I got to lighten up.
The ultimate warrior, man.
He's the ultimate warrior, man. And you know what? I don't play him on defense. Shame on me. I'm in a small school, but I run him so much.
And that's the thing. You only run him like, what's the most you've run him this year? How many carries?
Oh, 27 in one game.
Who was that against?
Week 1.
Crush you?
And then in the next few games, 15.
He usually doesn't get above 12.
But he hurts himself running.
Yeah.
Because he's running like a running fight. He's a running fight.
Yep.
And he makes the town tackle him. And then, sometimes you get banged up doing that, and I don't want to hurt our team.
Yeah.
So, it's a hard conversation we have. We practice him on defense. He's ready to go, everybody. He's ready to go in case you think that. But it's something where it's like, hey, we don't need him yet. You know what I mean? And we're getting better, and other guys are stepping up. So it's like, hey, this is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But no, there's so many fun games going on right now. I mean, Ursuline knocked off Fitch.
Oh, what a game!
That was kind of, I was surprised at the score. I was shocked at the score a little bit. I know Fitch has a lot of great players.
Got some dudes, man.
I think Mooney's better than most people think.
Really?
Oh, I think Mooney's good.
Yeah, you did say that earlier.
Pencil, Mooney, and Ursuline is a big game at the end of the year.
Week 10.
I know it's like, well, it's a big game every year. It's a big game this year because I think the Mooney is probably sick and tired of this.
Usually the team you write off, which in this case would be Mooney, because of the success Ursuline is the team that ends up shocking you.
Yeah, no, and hey, Ursuline could win it.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that it's going to be a better game this year.
I think Jack Erickson is one of the most underrated
treasured quarterback
for Ursuline. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stud. And Ashton O'Brien isn't far behind him.
Dude, those guys are both really good. I've seen them both.
Yep.
They're really good.
Yep.
Both quarterbacks, schooled, and they're just well oiled.
We have a lot of great talent, and I'm talking great talent. And I'm not saying D1, D2. We're not
high school kids, man. To watch high school kids perform and be great, right? I mean, those guys are special guys. You start talking about D1 guys. Like, who's the guy from Edina that's at Penn State now that Drew? Geez, oh man, is he the starter? Who's the starting quarterback at Penn State?
I don't watch Penn State.
Yeah, I know, but I think that's a guy that was from Edina. Guy's really good. He was really good, or
You know what? It leads me to a perfect question to end. You saw the Notre Dame Ohio State game, right?
Fantastic.
Okay. You saw what Day said after?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I've been very fortunate where I've been able to talk to Lou Holtz one-on-one several times.
I know.
And I think he's one of the more wonderful people. Very eccentric guy.
Yeah.
Charismatic character.
Yeah.
80-some years old.
Yeah.
Bob's age.
Yeah.
And just had the opportunity to be around him. And I don't think he meant to be. Just when he talks to people, he doesn't talk about people in a bad way. The guy's a genuinely nice guy. Yeah. Okay, so if he said something about Ohio State being soft, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was soft. They weren't tough. Notre Dame was tougher. Stuff like that.
Notre Dame was pretty tough. Notre Dame can win the rest of their games and end up maybe playing them again. I like Ohio State,
but I guess from my perspective, I have the Jim Tressel level. Right?
Would Jim Tressel say that?
Nope.
Okay, because I think that's the best coach I've ever been around.
Yep.
I think that's like, if you say, hey, where's it start and stop? Well, Tressel. Does he have flaws? Sure. But when it comes to philosophy and ideology, so it's like, hey, man, you're playing in Notre Dame, and there's an old Notre Dame coach who has the Medal of Freedom Award given to him by the president. I mean, Lou Holtz has the Medal of Freedom Award. I saw it. Yeah. It's pretty incredible to see the Medal of Freedom.
Did he let you wear it?
No, but no. I almost asked him, hey, let me put that on. But I was like, no, you know what I mean?
It's not Abe
But I did tell him this, so I'd be putting that thing on before my underwear in the morning. I said, you put that on before your underwear? He's like, I can't, come on. Hey, funny. Hey, real dude, though. He's like, give me a break. Come on, man. And I was like, no, do you put that Medal of Freedom Award? No, but he's a real dude. And I don't think he meant to be vicious. Day's trying to maybe get in his, hey, Ohio State versus the world. It's us versus everybody. Either people believe in us or they don't. And I think he's trying to.
Is he trying to pump his kids up? Or is he trying to pump himself up?
You know what? He's a really good record coaching.
Except against?
Well, and I think he might be feeling that. So, hey, how do I get the edge on it's us versus everybody. Look, this old coach, it's a legend's even saying you're soft. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I know I've become emotional at times when you know what I mean? Just emotional. When you hear something, you're emotional. And you got to say, hey, look, that's coaching.
Yep.
I'm sure he just got emotional at the end and said, but he said a couple times, they were like spouting off about it.
It was like premeditated. You know what I mean? That's what bothered me is if you need somebody else.
Find someone else. Yeah.
To make your building look taller.
He's, I always feel like, other coaches are coaching too to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one thing about Holtz is there's probably, top 5, 10 coaches of all time that are able to play mind games and get in guys' heads. Like he was a master. He would play down, hey, I hope we could just hang in there this week. He had like one of the best teams in the country. Hey, I hope it's close at halftime. You're just lowballing his team. And then, they're great, but I don't think that the guy went to be vicious about it. I don't think Holtz he's not a vicious guy. No. He just, he'd rather talk about political stuff a little bit.
Irony about all of this, I thought, people were asking me about it all weekend. Irony about all of this, Lou Holtz from East Liverpool, Ohio.
Yeah, oh no, right.
So he is Ohio.
Oh, he'll tell you he roots for Ohio State.
Yep.
But he says, I root for the Buckeyes.
Yep. As long as
but I'm Notre Dame. I am Notre Dame.
Yep.
And he even told me it's not like I wanted to leave, but they were making it very difficult for me to get guys. There's several factors. He told me. Just one-on-one, just talking about it. And it's so interesting talking to some legendary character one-on-one because they give you a perspective from their perspective.
Not to mention Freeman is an Ohio State guy.
And he's a great coach.
Amazing.
Look, when's the last time Notre Dame's played like that?
It's been a minute, dude.
And you know what? I watched the end of that game. And Notre Dame could have picked a couple balls off. A couple balls went through their hands.
Could have had 11 guys on the field.
Could have had 11 guys on the field. But, hey, go Bucks, man. They won the game. I'd rather see Ohio State win.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fanatic. I'm a fan. There's a difference. Fan stands for a fanatic. I'm not a fanatic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worship people.
Yeah.
If I'll tell you right now, if I had my chance to send my kid to Urban Meyer or Jim Tressel, I'm sending him to Jim Tressel 10 out of 10 times.
Yep.
Hey, it doesn't matter who's 7-0. I'm not being mean.
Yeah.
I'd rather have my kid coached by Dabo Swinney or Jim Tressel.
Yep.
There's their human touch. There's something about them with how they
grow men.
And they genuinely, you can see they care. Not that Urban Meyer doesn't care, but he's throwing a bone out to dogs, and whatever dog brings the bone back, that's my dude. You know what I mean? Well, what about the other guys? They didn't bring the bone back? Yeah, they're all right. They can eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yep.
Well, okay. You are promoting competition, and everybody has their own way. You know what I mean?
That's
I don't
tough
know
way,
how
though.
many people between you and me, and I guess a lot of others, I don't know how many people are begging to have Urban Meyer back. I'm just saying. I bet you a lot of people are begging to have Lou Holtz back at Notre Dame.
Oh, man.
In his prime, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It is what it is, man. You know, and it's funny. I wish Jim Tressel was still the Ohio State head coach. Things that he got in trouble for now they're just letting people do.
Oh, they're talking about Tressel ball, and people are like, oh, I hated when Tressel was yeah, I hated the national championships too.
I liked it when he ran it up the middle. I like power. I like ISO. I like control. That's football. I like pulling guards. I like pulling tackles.
I like that Ohio State is relevant now because of something that guy, our guy,
right,
from Youngstown, Ohio, did for them.
Right.
There's a lot of Ohio State fans now that wouldn't be Ohio State fans.
They're living in the now.
If it were,
they're living in the now.
If John Cooper were still on board, sorry about your luck.
I
think everybody's rooting
I'm
for.
a Tressel fan till the last dog's hung.
That's it.
And he's a good guy, man. Another guy doesn't
So
talk about people. Well, I appreciate it.
You're the guy.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Well, I can't wait to hang out with you next Monday, man. Appreciate you spending some time with us and giving an insight on not just the football world, but your world. It is Hakes Take every Monday right here on YSN. Coach, thank you.